Before you can create a healthy relationship with others, you first have to create a healthy relationship with yourself. Welcome to Let's Talk About It with your host, Dr. Janie Lacey. Janie is a nationally respected psychotherapist, and on this show, she and her featured guests will help you discover and break patterns in your life that can contribute to self-sabotage and unhealthy relationships. Now, here is Dr. Janie Lacey.
To another episode of Let's Talk About It with Janie Lacey. You know, everyone, and I mean everyone, has ignored red flags. You've ignored that gut feeling and silenced your inner voice telling you to end that friendship, don't marry that person, love that family member from a distance, move away, stay home, etc. And it's okay. You're not weak or stupid. We're only human. While walking on your healing journey, there will be trial and error. You won't get everything right the first time, but you can learn from your past mistakes and make better future decisions. My guest today is going to help us do just that. She's a human rights advocate with a passion for giving back. Kimberly Jones, known as Real Talk Kim, is a partner with Rock, Paper, Scissors Foundation, a nonprofit organization which exists to foster healing and give a voice to those who have been silenced from all forms of abuse and human trafficking. Pastor Kim has been featured on numerous TV shows, magazines, radio shows. She's truly a living and walking testimony of God's redemption plan in action. She's a mother, pastor, entrepreneur, best-selling author, entertainer, and most importantly, a worshiper after God's own heart. Pastor Kim is the senior pastor at Limitless Church in Georgia. Welcome to the show, Real Talk Kim.
Oh my goodness. I am so thankful to be with you and honored. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You know, society and religious ideals pressure us to walk on eggshells. It tells us don't rock the boat, ruffle feathers, be more patient, turn the other cheek, be nice, don't be angry, and don't be that angry and ungrateful woman. Honor and respect our elders, even if they're abusive, because if people treat us badly, it's our fault, right?
Yes.
But today we are taking back our power and don't allow people to give us their butt to kiss in order to maintain relationships.
Whoa.
That's right. So Pastor Kim, you know, you are pastoring a church, you write books, you lead an inner circle group, you lead prayer calls, do social media lives, you're on television, you have your own family. How does Pastor Kim fill her own cup so that she gives from the abundance of her life?
Man, you know what I have made it. I'm a very intentional person. And I think for my whole life, I have been driven with emotions and, you know, keeping up with people and trying to, you know, just society makes us, you know, compare our lives. And so I'm very intentional about watching my heart. I make sure that I get up and plan my day, because I know my day will plan me if I don't. I listen to podcasts. I listen to episodes like this. I am in the Word. I am always pouring YouTube preaching in me. I'm listening to Tony Robbins. I'm all over the board listening to stuff that fills my spirit. If it doesn't really fill my spirit, I don't even waste time with it, because I know that God has called me to be a hope dealer. And I know that that's where the enemy will get you. He'll always get you in the very place that you're making a difference. And so, man, I don't let things stress me out. I'm very, very, very intentional. Like if I start feeling my heart palpitating or I feel like, you know, chaotic confusion going on around me, I make sure that I stop and I reevaluate, I recenter myself. I don't put myself really in a lot of situations where I'm drained. If there's attention, I don't go back there. You know, I'm just real good about watching my spirit. Proverbs 3:23 says to guard your heart because out of it flows. 4:23 says to guard your heart because out of it flows the issues of life. And so I take that serious. So I'm constantly pouring stuff into me. I love YouTubes. Listen, I listen to podcasts like crazy, girl.
I like a hope dealer.
Yes.
I think I want to become a hope dealer.
I'm a hope dealer, not a crack dealer, a hope dealer. Not a drama dealer, a hope dealer.
A hope dealer.
I'm proof, man, that you go to hell and come out on fire, girl. I'm proof that all of your dream board dreams can go to hell in a handbasket and you still be used of God. I'm proof that people can write you off, but God will write you back on. The key is keeping your heart right.
Keeping your heart right. You know, you have a quote that healing doesn't mean the damage never existed. And I see this
No,
quote floating around and I love it. It means
no.
the damage no longer controls our lives.
Yes.
So for those people that
Yes.
are listening or watching, just how does someone start breaking the chains of that unhealthy relationship and the void, the push and pull going back to the familiar? I say it's like the dog that vomits and going right back
Come
to,
on.
you know?
It's
So,
like almost taking your trash out with all the coffee molecules in it, the coffee you put in and then going and trying to pick something out, all that trash. You don't go back to the trash and pull your trash out. And so I think that when we get to a place where we realize that God didn't create us for drama, that God is not a part of drama. He's not, it's not, I think we were raised in this world where we start young with parents not making it, us having homes broken apart. We get into relationships trying to escape our home or whatever, and we keep repeating these cycles. And I think that, we get to a place where we think if it doesn't hurt, then it's not love. And so I think that at some point, it hit me at 40 years old, man, 40, 45. I'm going to tell you, I started realizing that certain things in my life are non-negotiables. It doesn't make me a bad person because I'm not going to put up with your bad behavior. I realized that you can't keep putting yourself back into places that keep breaking you. Somebody that really loves you and values you will fight that addiction. Somebody that really loves you and values you won't keep talking to other women on the phone. He will be faithful to you. She will be faithful to you. A woman that really, or a man that really loves you, that is supposed to be with you, they will fight to get their tails right when they honor you, respect you. And so I really believe that we put up what we will tolerate. We tolerate it, and then we walk through life mad at God because he won't fix the dingbat or the fool. You know what I'm saying? Like, why won't you just fix them? Because they don't want to be fixed. And so we'll go through life mad at God because we're wiping our own butts at 48 years old because we wasted our time on a man that wouldn't be faithful to you, right? Or a woman that never showed you love and affection. Now you're over here sitting rocking in a rocking chair all by yourself because you were trying to fix somebody that didn't want to fix them. One thing that I learned is you can never fix somebody, but you can break yourself trying.
Amen to that.
So at some point, man, you got to have that oh hell no moment where you finally just say, you know what, I love me. I remember when I finally started getting it together, girl, it was 17 years, 2 kids. I wanted a family unit, the only one in my family that had not been divorced. I was raised in a religion that said, if you get divorced, you're going to hell on a slip and slide. And I finally, at one point, I was like, I had that oh hell no moment. Like, I would rather live under a bridge in a cardboard box than put up with this sleepless nights another night in my life. So I think when you get there and you finally get to a point where you don't care what nobody thinks, I'm not staying in this because I'm going to go to hell on a slip and slide. My God ain't like that, right? And so I think that that's what you do. You have to realize that it doesn't mean the hurt doesn't exist. It hurts. What you went through is real. But here's the key. The pain may not be your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. You have to pay attention to what is that thing. If you don't learn to heal from brokenness and things that people did to you, you will go through the rest of your life bleeding on people that didn't cut you.
Yes.
You will miss out on blessings because this person didn't love you appropriately. And that's all set up because you know what I believe? I believe that one will put 1,000 to flight, 2 will put 10,000 to flight. Relationships are where it's at. And being in relationships with counterfeits, being friends with counterfeits, these people, they mess it up for the great people out there. And there are still great people out there. So why don't you just heal? Why don't you just forgive and start with the ones that won't never tell you they're sorry? Look at rejection like it was a release and it was God's protection. Rejection was God's protection. Rejection is not necessarily someone wanting out of your life. It's somebody that God needed out of your future. God heard conversations they had behind your back. God knew that their character couldn't go with you to that next level. Can you imagine how many of us, sis, that go through life not even walking in what we're supposed to walk in because we're too busy trying to get somebody to love us that don't even know how to love themselves? Instead of learning how to love us, saying, you know what, my family may not have a family unit, but they're going to have a solid mama.
A solid mama. Yes.
They're not going to hear yelling and screaming to go to sleep at night.
So we are going to stop accommodating, accepting bad behavior.
And it
Healing
don't
is
make
a
you
choice.
bitter. You know, it doesn't make you bitter, Betty. It doesn't make you an outspoken, uncontrollable woman. You can go through life putting boundaries up, sis, and be the
Yes.
most gracious woman on the planet. It ain't that we don't
Yes.
like relationships. We just don't like relationships with dysfunctional people that aren't faithful or that aren't good to us or that don't respect us. They don't,
Boundaries is not a bad word.
boundaries is not, and no is a complete sentence.
No is a complete sentence. I'm reminded of the passage in the book of Exodus in the Bible, where God led Moses and his chosen people who were in bondage out of Egypt to freedom to the promised land. They prayed, begged, and pleaded to God to go back to slavery because they were familiar with being enslaved.
That's a whole sermon.
Oh my goodness. Even though you may dream, pray, and desire healthy love, but when it shows up, you are taken by surprise. I wonder why, because it is unfamiliar. So what can you share with us to stay on that journey forward, even if it is fearful because of the unknown? No more slavery.
Man, girl, I've never in my life experienced anything that is incredible and grateful that didn't scare the crap out of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just took my breath away. Like, oh my God, nobody will support you. Nobody, it's almost like God put you out there on this island. But the most beautiful thing is when you make up in your mind, if nobody supports me, if nobody buys my book, and you finally get to that place where you say, I just know what's here. There's something burning here for me to start that podcast. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know. I don't have a camera. All I got is my phone. I don't have lights, but I got another phone, so I'll use it as a light, right? But I don't have to wait until I have it all together. But I know there's something burning here. That means not telling people that'll water down. Don't do that, girl. Ain't nobody going to listen to that. Ain't nobody going to read your book, right? And believing in yourself enough that it doesn't matter if anybody supports you. You believe in it enough you lose sleep doing it. So I think that's the key. I think the key is learning to believe in yourself, being the cheerleader of your own fan club.
So believing in yourself and doing it scared and doing it anyway.
With your knees knocking. You know how I go through life, because I went through life for so long for somebody else, that now I go through life and I realize that life is but a vapor. But I'm going to be 48 years old in a month, and I don't know how. I'm like, what? I'm living the dream, but I didn't start living the dream till I was 40. I was still working at Bloomingdale's at 40 years old, barely making it, eating roll-my noodles with my sons. That was at 40 years old. And I look now and I realize that the free falling that I've done in the last 7 years is what's got me this far. Some people will never get to experience what I've experienced, but it's because I did it with my knees knocking. I did it. I am the Google queen. How do you do a YouTube channel? How do you write a book? What does it look like? How do you self-publish? Google's a woman. She's got all the answers. And so I am the Google queen because I realized that life is but a vapor, and that you spend your whole life scared to death of what they're going to think about you while you're wasting your life. So you know what I do? Here's my motto. I ain't got to have it all together. I'll work out the kinks as I go. I will be sitting in front of you with one camera sitting above on my computer. I can sit anywhere in my house. I got a whole studio upstairs, but I feel comfortable here. Why? Because I can. It ain't about your surrounding. It's about what comes out of you. It's about you speaking from a place of authenticity, a place of transparency, that someone is on a bridge somewhere ready to commit suicide, and hearing your voice grabs them. That's what it's about. And I think we miss it, girl, because we think we ain't qualified, or we don't have the lighting, or I was in special ed. I was in special ed my whole life. And now I got 4 bestsellers in 7 years. Why? Because I did it scared. I did it afraid. I did it. If nobody buys my book, then oh well. I did it. And now look. So I think that's the key. You ain't got to have all the answers. Just start moving your feet. Be available. Give God a yes. And you watch what'll happen in your life.
Be available. Give God a yes. And just start moving. Just start moving. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to be perfect at all.
Work the kinks out as you go.
Work the kinks out as you go and have the support to do it. Have people that are going to support you and cheer you on. I just love that.
Pray for that OCD spirit to be broken off of you.
Yes. So then, Pastor Kim, why do you think that so many people don't trust their gut feeling that something isn't right about a person or a situation? Because I also see that people get held back by the company they keep or situations they're in. And yet, it's that gut feeling that we can ignore. Why do you think that is?
Man, I think it's because for so long in society, man, we've got all these people telling us what we're supposed to think, how we're supposed to think it. We look at numbers. So, you're on social media. You can have somebody with 1 million followers. That's great. Like, how? It's like people love drama, so they follow the crazies. And so you're over here thinking, well, maybe I don't have it. Maybe what I'm feeling ain't right. I got 2 likes. They got 1 million, And so I think that the likes have made us get to a place, and the validation from social media has made us get to a place where we doubt ourselves. And I've learned that, girl, that when I literally feel something, I go with it. Even when I'm at a table and I sit down at a menu, this is how crazy I am. If I sit down at a menu, the first thing that jumps out at me, I order it. Because I spent my whole life questioning myself, and everybody at the table had the best food because I should have went with that first thing. I think that it just annihilates all throughout life us questioning. If I feel a check in my spirit about somebody, I don't need to go ask, well, have you heard anything about them? Or what do you think about them? I have learned that you can unfollow people and nobody got to know. You ain't got to follow people on social media that you feel checking your spirit about. I don't care if I don't care if they are the cream of the cream. I don't care if they are the Kanye West of the world or whatever, or I don't even know some of these people, but they are the top thing. If I feel something in my spirit, I don't question it. I spent my whole life questioning it. I spent my whole life trying to get people to validate me that weren't even validated. I spent my whole life trying to get people to teach me how to swim that were drowning, right? Just because they've got this huge charisma. I need character. That's what I pray for every day. God, show me character. Let me put people around me in my life that are because birds of a feather flock together. I'm very careful what I put on my social media. I don't just get on these Zooms unless I look at who I'm getting on with, right? Because you don't want to, God's trusting you with this. Don't allow yourself just wanting to be celebrated and accepted, to just do whatever just because it's popular. I have learned that even if you're the only one on that section of the drive, keep doing it, even if you're the only one doing it. Do what God tells you to do. Do what your gut tells you to do. But we question it. I don't know what to do. Yeah, you do. You knew what to do when you ask, what do I need to do? Because God ain't no sight kind of God, right? If you just calm yourself, if you just, man, I don't know what I need to do. That first thing that drops in your spirit was your insight. That was the first thing.
One of my mentors had said to me, and this is exactly what's hitting me as you're talking, is that run our own race. Those that are sprinting, run your marathon. It's easy to be a fruit picker. It's more difficult to plant your roots in that soil and grow and be your own authentic tree. So today you are listening or you are watching, stop being the fruit picker.
Yes.
And trust that gut.
Yes. Be the kind of fruit that's at the top of the tree and people have to climb up there. Don't be at the end. Be you. You know what I've learned in this life? I have learned that it is so much fun being me. I'm loud. I am just me. It is so freeing in my spirit to know that when I lay my head down at night, people talk about me. They talk about if you're not being talked about, being talked about is not a bad thing. But I don't even worry about that because I know at the end of the day, I'm watching my fruit, right? I'm being not allowing myself to just settle. And there's something so freeing about being you and not allowing yourself to be what you just said.
Be you and enjoy being you. And if they're going to talk, give them something to talk about. Be you.
Yes. You know what really got me set free, girl, from that was I realized that if you're being talked about by someone that is pretty special, because you're not even there. And you're the topic of a conversation and you're not even there. That means those haters are confused fans, so much so that you're taking up conversation and you ain't even there.
That's a pretty special position.
Yes, it really is. If we would start looking at it like that instead of having to clap back. I ain't got time to clap back. I'm so busy doing,
No. Purpose focus. Focus on your purpose only. Yep. So why do you think it is difficult for people to accept God's love, but will accept the false concepts of love, attracting narcissists, users, and abusers? We will accept that crap every day, all day, but it's hard and difficult to accept God's love.
Because I think we have a false idea who God is. You know, I really don't think that, I think that we don't spend time getting to know God and cultivating a relationship with God. You know, the enemy's such a stupid punk. Like, he can't take you out, so he tries to wear you out. And the way he wears you out is in your mind. False perceptions. You know, he allows a dad to walk out of your life as a child. And now you think if your dad walked out, then, you know, how can this invisible God really love me? And we go through life, and then we get in these terrible relationships, and we wonder, how in the world, you know, am I validated for this love when my ex told me that nobody would ever love me? Mm-hmm. And so I think that because we are so driven by just the wrong love examples, instead of getting in the word and finding out what God says about us. See, we're over here wanting God's direction and wanting love from the wrong people that don't even love themselves. But it's because we're bankrupt. You know, we don't really know what God says about us, because the enemy has put all these counterfeits in our lives to distract us. He's put all of these. The devil isn't fighting you because you're weak. He's fighting you because you're strong. And he always gets in the one area that we're deficient in, the one broken, the one hurt. It's the little foxes that spoil the vine. So he always gets in there, and it's always through relationships. I'm lonely. I'm lonely. I'm lonely. I need a man. I need a man. I need a man. And you fall for any man in aluminum foil. What? You fall for every bozo on the planet because you can't wait and believe that you are fine china, and you're walking around letting people treat you like a paper plate. Because you don't. You got to learn. I ask God, girl, God, I want to feel your love. I ask God A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I ask God kindergarten prayers. God, I want to forgive, but I don't know how. God, I want to feel your love. Don't let me settle. Every morning when I wake up, God, give me wisdom and understanding. Don't let me fall for any bozo. Let me settle. Don't let me ever settle, God, and he'll give it to you. Ask and you shall receive.
Ask and you shall receive, and not accept anything. Because when you know your worth, you know your worth. Not accept the crumbs at the table, but accept you are the main meal.
Yes, I want the whole meal, girl. I don't want your crumbs. I know that's a whole great story, but I don't want your crumbs. I want the whole meal. I don't want to spend my whole life in a terrible relationship where we're sleeping back to back. Just because you don't want the elder to talk about you. Boy, bye.
Yes. Thank you for saying that.
We don't feel like we're worthy. Yes, you are worthy. And God did not create you to live with a toxic liar. He just didn't. But we got to get God's love and receive his love. God, I've got a dysfunctional idea of what your love is. I need your love. And let him pour it into you. Put a do not disturb upon your heart. And let God fill that void. And then I bet you money you won't settle, because, honey, peace is priceless.
Oof. Right before we go to our 2-minute break, peace is priceless. No more false loves. No more let me do it for everybody else. So we are here with Real Talk Kim, and we are having real talk with Let's Talk About It with Janie Lacey. And we will be back after our short 2-minute break, and we are going to break it down. We are going to continue to help you break free of toxic relationships.
Are you often attracted to unavailable partners? Feel like you can't stay but can't leave a toxic relationship? Obsessed with thinking about a current or former lover? Feel resentful that you're always taking care of the other person? The Woman Redeemed Therapy Program is for women who want to break free from toxic relationship patterns so they can find the love they truly deserve. This program is a safe, nurturing environment essential for building self-worth and acquiring the tools to work through challenges and create your best self. We invite you to begin the journey today to start building the new you. Call 407-622-1770 or visit lifecounseling.solutions.com. That's lifecounseling.solutions.com. You are listening to Let's Talk About It with Dr. Janie Lacey. To reach the show today, please call into 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Janie at lifecounseling.solutions.com. Now back to Let's Talk About It.
Talk About It with Janie Lacey, with our guest, Real Talk Kim. We are breaking it down for you, everything toxic relationships, because we want God's best for you. So welcome back to the show, Pastor Kim, AKA Real Talk Kim.
Man, I am so honored to be here with you guys today. How fun is this? And I love you. I like you're pretty blunt like I am.
You know, we are truth tellers, and now I'm going to be a hope dealer. I'm going to go be a hope dealer in your camp.
Come on, girl. Come on. Change the world together. Now I believe in some women now. I believe in some women like you, honey.
We are better together is what I always say. So,
yeah.
You know, so Pastor Kim, why is it so difficult for people to heal from addictions and disconnecting from soul ties in their lives and their relationships? What do you see? What can you tell us?
Man, I think that's where the enemy gets us. You know, the reason why whenever my 17-year marriage ended, I loved his guts. Like I stayed 8 times. I went back, you know, it's one of those deals. And I finally realized I kept wondering, how come I keep believing him? Like, how come I'm wasting my whole life? And I started Googling soul ties. I started Googling, what is it? It's things that the enemy will use to just wrap. It's almost like one of those fish, octopus, that just gets in every area of your life. And it really happens to women, because we have this idea that if we don't have a man, we're not worthy. If we're not married, we're losers. You know, we always have that one aunt at our reunion that's like, girl, ain't no man gonna love you because you sagging now, your boobs are to your knees, right? And so we start to settle in these relationships. But I think what it is I think that, you know, we allow ourselves to get so lied to that we begin to believe those false lies about us. And we start putting ourselves on a clearance rack when God created us to be on a couture rack. And I think until we get to that place where we realize what we're doing is not working, you know, we need to put ourselves on put our do not disturb upon our heart and let God heal us, so that we stop repeating cycles. I'm the queen of repeating cycles. The enemy will always, I was telling y'all this before, the enemy will always get you at that place that you feel a void. He will send exactly what you want. The devil does not come in a red cape and a pitchfork and horns. The devil brings everything you want to get you off kilter. Because if he can get you stuck, you're going to miss all your you're going to miss their whole childhood crying over a fool that wasn't even worth crying over. You're going to allow yourself to lose your calling and your ministry because you're not going to feel worthy to even open your mouth, because you couldn't make it in that area. And society will have you believing that you are no good, that you're written off, and you'll begin to listen to that. So here's what you got to do. You got to let God's voice be louder in your ear than what their voices are. You got to mute some people in your life. You got to unfollow some people in real life. And you got to begin to take care of yourself. Stop listening to what they say about you, and listen to what God knows about you. You might have done everything they did. You might have drove him off with your big mouth. But you are not over. It is not finished. You do not have to settle for a place of deficit because you think you deserve it. God don't operate like that. God is not Equifax. God does not, your whole life is not thrown away, and he changes plans for your life because you made some stupid decisions. He already knew before you were ever even a thought in your mother's womb that you were going to make these stupid mistakes. And he said, I'm going to put that mess as a message in your life. So I think what we got to do is we got to decide, what am I okay with? What is a non-negotiable? I might have to move back in with my mother and daddy for 5 months at 36 years old to get it together and figure my life out. But I refuse to stay in this another day in my life. You got to ask yourself today, y'all, do I want what I got in 20 years?
Do I want what I got in 20 years? And you said something so profound. You know, in our Women Redeemed group, one of the things that I always stress, it's important to understand your core wounds. Because if you believe that you're not good enough, you're going to attract someone who's also going to reflect that. So to get in that place and understand, is this where I want to be in 20 years? And then you talked about your mother's wound. You know, you have such a beautiful, close relationship that we see on social media with your mother. But you know, not everyone has that kind of relationship. You know, what can you say? Either. Okay, well then perfect. So then what can you say to women who have not experienced a nurturing and loving bond from that emotional present mother? Because sometimes I say we're looking for our moms in the bed with men.
Whoa, and our daddy. Yeah. You know what? you know what I think? I think there's people like me and you out there. There's people like me and you. If you don't have my mom, people love my mama. She came during this pandemic. You know, everybody got to know my mama during this pandemic. So there's so many people that don't have a mama that call her mama. Mm-hmm. There's so many people that call me mama. God is going to bring people in your life to fill that void. And it may not be one that birthed you out of their body. It could be somebody else that God brings into your life that'll nurture you, that'll look at you and say, I love you. And you'll be like, I know you do. A mama, a spiritual mama that looks at you and can pull out destiny from you, that can push you to breakthroughs and not breakdowns. So I say to you, if you don't have a relationship, me and my mama did not have it. Me and my mama did not have a great relationship until probably, in the last 5 years. And we started cultivating a great relationship, but it was because I was so broken. You know, at probably 40 years old is when we started really cultivating a great relationship. And when my daddy got sick a few years ago, we really got tight because we had to come together and take care of my daddy together. And who knew that me and her would be doing loving people back to life together during a pandemic? But we were available. You know, we are available, and we are filling voids for so many people now that have been handicapped because they didn't have that. We are being a mama. We are being a life coach. We're being a mentor. I'm a pastor to people that didn't have that. And I love filling those shoes. And now I get why I was fought for so long. Because when you finally get it together and realize why the enemy was after you, and you see the power that you're going to have that you possess to change the world, and you do. Every person watching this today, you ain't just watching this because you fell on this or because you like one of us. No, you're here because God wants you to hear. You are powerful. You are a masterpiece. You are lovable. You are quality. You ain't too old. You ain't too old to be loved appropriately. Your kids are going to be just fine. You're not terrible just because you couldn't keep a family unit. Stop looking at what you got, what you've lost, and thank God for what you still got. You're still here. And as long as you have a pulse, God has a plan. So I think what we got to do is we got to stop grieving over what's gone and look at what's in front of us. Because I believe that when something leaves your life, God's going to bring something else into your life.
He is going to bring something else into your life.
To fill the void.
To fill that void. And you also said something that, I don't know who said this saying, but this saying I always hear, it's not who you are that's the threat, it's going to be who you become. And it sounds like that's exactly where you're coming in that testimony. So it's hang in there and just keep the fight and keep doing what's right.
Lainey, you know what I always say? Janie, I always say thieves don't rob empty vaults. Mm-hmm. There's something so powerful on the inside of you that the enemy wants you to get unqualified. He wants you to feel like you don't have a voice and that you don't have anything to say. You're in special ed. You shouldn't write that book. Wherever you feel the most resistance, go hard. Go hard or go home. Start fighting that thing. Stop allowing yourself to lay in the bed in depression and, I just wish I had him. You didn't like him when you had him, right? Stop crying over, stop wasting your Lancome $22.50 Definicils. And get up and wipe your tears and get back in the fight, right?
Get back in the fight.
You are worth it.
Yes.
You are worth it, baby. You're worth it.
And believe that you're worth it. And
yes.
That leads me, I really need you to help break this down for us, because many times people are looking for that cobra to strike. And I can even think in my own life, looking for that cobra to strike, but yet it was that python that was slowly wrapping themselves around your neck. Didn't even see it coming. Sometimes it's the people that were closest to you. How can people increase their discernment muscle?
Well, I think a lot of times, and I'm talking personal experience right now, that the enemy knows I love hard. And I believe hard. And the area that I want so bad, like today in our staff meeting, we were talking about what's your 10 pain points. What are the 10 things? Mine was loyalty, rejection, being overlooked, feeling not worth it, not worth fighting for. And these are things that from childhood, really, just abandonment, rejection. And I think we know, right? Like you can be living with the devil. You can literally be living with Satan. And I think in this last season, that's the one place that broke me probably more than anything, because I trusted someone so much. And it wasn't what they did to me, but that hurt too, but it was what they said about me. It was the ugliness that they said about me, the lies that they said about me to cover up their own, right? And I look back and I had to evaluate that. And I realized all along, I knew it. But because of what society tells us, we got to stay in it. We got to sleep with the snake. We got to cover for people's sake, right? And I think that a lot of times they're right around us. And what you have to do is you got to realize, and this is what I've been telling myself to heal in this season. So I don't preach angry, and I love relationships. I don't want to ever, I fight hard for relationships because of my own personal walk. I think that what we have to do is we got to pray prayers like, God, reveal anything in my life and not be scared of the truth. See, a lot of times we won't pray for God's surrounding or for his will to be done because we're afraid we're sleeping with the snake. We're afraid of the truth that we already know. And I think that if we get to a place where we begin to say, God, I know that you've given me whatever I need to get me through whatever I'm about to walk through, and we just face it. Stop running from it. Face it. You are stronger than you think. And allow yourself to realize that hurt people hurt people. I have discovered in this last season of my life, don't take it personal. Nobody comes into this earth wanting to tear somebody down. But at some point, somebody, they need to get help. It ain't your job to die trying to make something work with somebody that's toxic. You have to realize that don't take it personal. You got to guard your heart, man, and you got to release it. Let God, I mean, sometimes, girl, he will cut that grass all the way down. Stop questioning yourself. Stop trying to change somebody that don't want to change. Stop wasting your life. Let them go. Let them go. And when they go, you make sure your heart's right.
Let them go. No more projects.
You know what's so crazy is we walk through life, Janie, and we want to get somebody back. But you know what I discovered? Sociopaths, narcissistic people, pigs, they don't care about you. You are wasting your whole life being bitter over somebody that don't even have blood running through their veins. When there is somebody that can break your heart and sleep in the same bed with you and cheat on you or whatever they're doing that's breaking your heart, they are not the one for you. We tolerate it because that's all we feel we're worth. When God reveals those snakes and you know, let them go. Stop feeling like you're worth it. I deserve this. No, you don't. You don't deserve this. Him hitting on you, you didn't make him hit on you. I'm hitting you because of, I hit you. You made me do that. No, you didn't. Nothing you did. You gaining weight. Oh, I cheated on you because you gained weight after little Johnny. No, he didn't. He would have done that if you were a size 2. You got to get to a place where you own the truth and you realize it ain't personal, but I ain't putting up with this anymore. That goes for friends.
Yes.
Right, Janie?
Yes.
That goes for friends. When these people keep talking about you, why you keep letting them back in your close circle? What do you want from somebody that's mean? Right? Get your whole self. If all you're around is people that make you feel like a peasant, what are you doing? If all you're around is people that when they walk in a room, your heart starts, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Whether it's a preacher, whether it's your pastor, whether it's a bishop, if there is somebody that always makes you feel like you ain't good enough to be in their presence, give them the blessing of your absence. Stop trying to waste your life getting people that are broken and mean and sociopath and narcissistic. They're never going to love you appropriately, and you're wasting your life trying to handle it and make them a project. You can't fix somebody that don't want to be fixed.
Absolutely not. Let them go. You know, and I think this would be really good to speak to some of the women because they've been married, now divorced. Single is not a curse word. It can be a blessing.
What?
You know, the end all is not being married or finding a man, right? So speak to some of the women so they could hear that being single can be a blessing. It is not a curse word.
Man, you know what? I think that, I don't know if it's because I'm 47 or what, and I don't know if it's because I've gone through a lot. There ain't nothing like peace. Get your butt in some groups that will teach you how you can be a strong woman. We live in a society, y'all, where it really is a man's world. And you got to be in a place where you realize that you bring more to the table than just having kids or just cooking supper. You can push a whole human out of your body. You've got such superpower that you can be graceful and strong. You can be soft and loving. We can as women, literally, when a man is broken, we can make a poor man righteous, right? The right one. The right one.
Mm-hmm.
The right one. You can also be in relationships with a man that'll be 63 years old, won't even be faithful, ain't never been faithful. But you got to stop allowing your quality of life to be dictated by somebody that was broken, because you do attract what you are and not what you want. But here's the key. The key is realizing, get you in some groups. Get you in some girl groups, man. We're not women haters. We ain't women haters. Man, we realize that if we can birth babies, then we can speak to a king in our life. Yes. We can love the heck out of a man. We can literally, he's broken because he lost his job, his 6-figure job during this pandemic. Baby, you can make this man feel like he is the best burger tosser on the planet. He will be walking in, filling those applications out. I think we as women don't realize our power. If we've got the power out of our mouth, if we got the power to birth a baby, we got the power to shift our own life. Yes. We don't have to every 28 days. Oh my God, I'm emotional. I already told my husband every 28 days, I need him to get out of my face. You need to learn how to control your emotions and stop being so emotionally driven and take your life. You are not the amount, your quality of life. It's not off what you got or who you sleep by. And when you fall in love with you, your thick thighs, your dimples that look like you had a whole hailstorm on your thighs, start loving your thighs, baby. Right? Those thighs caught the cell phone from falling in the toilet a time or two. Love your back, but love you. And when you love you, you carry yourself differently. When you love you, you won't tolerate nonsense. You ain't got to be, girl. When you walk in a room, you command value and attention and honor. And when you walk in a room, baby, you ain't even got to open your mouth. You just make everybody different. You are the celebrator and the cheerleader of every woman function there is, because when you were, girl, you bad. Oh, look at you. When you are whole, when you love you, you'll stop settling. You'll stop. Find your purpose. What is your purpose? Connected to making someone else's life beautiful.
Get into a tribe of women who can build you up. Woof. Mm-hmm.
Girl, a tribe that believes in you. I'm the biggest hype queen on the planet. I will hype you. I will hype you, and I mean it. Because I know that if God created you, he created you to be a game changer. He created you to be a nation shifter at 54 years old. Stop laying in your bed in your house. Well, I don't know if there'll ever be a man. I ain't never got married. Stop being bitter Betty and get over here and become bountiful, beautiful Betty, right? Change your surroundings. Change what you're putting in your ears. Change yourself. Wake up in the morning, look at yourself, girl, you bad. I wake up in the morning, listen. I wake up in the morning, I am so extra because I live my whole life bound trying to please broken people. I wake up, I swing my drapes open. Good morning, Holy Spirit. Siri, turn on worship. I'm telling you. Because I realize my life is what I make it. Happiness is a choice, and it's my choice. You girls, stop settling. Stop thinking you second rate. Stop. We can run businesses. We can push babies. We can push a baby out of a place nothing should come out of, and then be on the broccoli aisle the next day shopping for groceries. Believe in yourself and don't let no counterfeit make you feel unlovable. You're so lovable. And somebody is waiting for you to get your life together. Somebody is waiting on you to walk in your purpose.
So in that single season, you are being prepared.
Yes. Oh, I didn't even hit on that, did I? You know what? In that single season, I don't know, girl. In that single season, you ain't got to wash nobody's underwear. You ain't got to cook nobody's food. You ain't got to tell nobody where you're going. In that single season, you're preparing for your Boaz. You're learning how to clean your house, right? You're learning how to, if I love me, then I'm not going to put false expectations on nobody else. And so therefore, I'm going to attract what I deserve instead of what I'm ready to settle for. That single season, man, listen. There ain't nothing worse in this world than getting married to somebody because you hate being single, wishing to God you were single. Marry Satan and got to pretend you're happy.
Yes, hear that, ladies. We waste time settling, not knowing who we are, not understanding your self-worth, and not understanding that healing is a choice and happiness is a choice. You heard it from Pastor Kim.
Jesus. And you know what you got to realize, Janie? You got to realize that when you're single, it's because God ain't ready to share you yet. You know, when you're single, it ain't because nobody wants you. You know, I hear women say all the time, I'm too strong. I'm too strong. I mean, no, you can carry yourself with such a grace. Listen, you don't want nobody that's threatened by your strength anyway. Because if the person really knows you and they're really sent by God, they know exactly how to get in line and walk with you. They're not intimidated by you. You ain't got to dumb yourself down. You can wear your heels and then be shorter than you.
There
You
go.
can be all of me, loves all of me, and he gonna love all of you too. Why? Because a healed woman is attractive.
A healed woman is attractive.
She's attractive. She got something and nobody knows what it is. You're like, why ain't you married? Because God ain't sent the right one yet. Yeah, I'd rather be single than married in misery.
Rather be single than married and miserable. Oh man, I'm taking notes here.
Janie, I love how you keep bringing me back around.
Good team. We have a good team here going.
ADHD. I'm just butterfly chasing.
Love it, love it, love it. So in our last few minutes, Pastor Kim, in closing, what is the one thing that you want viewers and our listeners to know from your own personal testimony to encourage them to keep walking in faith?
Man, I want you tonight, before you go to sleep, open your mouth. The Bible says that life and death are in the power of our words. Open your mouth and begin to pray, even if you ain't got a prayer. Just say, God, I need you tonight. I'm hurting in this area. I'm still broken in this area. It still hurts me what they did to me. But I want to forgive, God, but I don't know how. And God, give me the courage to get up in the morning and want to fix my hair, put my clothes on. Lord, let me love me the way you love me. Let me pray specifics and watch God change your life. Because, baby, listen to me. As long as you ain't dead, God ain't done. It ain't over until God says it's over. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. I promise you, the minute you start getting your attitude adjusted and you start getting your butt up, get your butt up. Get rid of the offense. Take the offense panties off. Get yourself together. Stop listening to those voices. Stop listening to your mama. Stop looking at people's eyes. Why'd you look at me that way? Why? Just get free. Who cares? Maybe because you're beautiful. Huh? Stop looking at the negative and begin to get up. Even if you got to pull your leg like you are a turtle stuck in peanut butter. Move your big thigh. Get up and take your life back. And move. Somebody needs you to move. God wants to take your scars and turn them to stars. He wants to turn your wounds into wisdom today. He wants to turn your pain into a pulpit. Let him. Give him your yes.
Say that again. Turn the peanut butter.
Turn the pain into your pulpit. Let him turn the scars into stars, right? Your wounds into wisdom.
Yes,
and
yes,
give
yes.
him your yes. That's all he needs is your yes.
Give him your yes. We heard it today. Give him your yes. You know, and Pastor Kim, we just thank you so much for bringing the word to us, helping us heal, helping all the women who are hearing this. I hope you all were taking notes and watch the replay, because I want you to remember that you can turn your pain into purpose in God's perfect timing and not in ours. All you need to do is trust the process, stay on the right path, and surround yourself with people who will truly support your dreams and aspirations, bringing out the best in you always on this journey called life.
Yes.
Until next time, this is your host, Janie Lacey.
Thank you for tuning in. Let's Talk About It can be heard live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Time and 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Please join your host, Dr. Janie Lacey, for another edition of the show next week.